Progress on the dev kit has been absolutely crazy at the moment. September 15th was the last time I had to flash the dev kit. This leaves Purism just 9 days before the initial launch of the Librem 5. After flashing, it was clear that this version was not ready for the public. For example, on the lock screen, when you enter your PIN code, the key presses remain highlighted. A bit of a security fail. We can also see the unfinished app lineup, including GNOME tweaks, Vim and Vim, and the non-final icons. If you recall in my last video, the web browser performance is basically unusable in certain situations. There was also no initial user setup dialog, so it didn't ask you which language you wanted, or if you want to connect to any accounts, etc. Something newly included, though, is the Software Center, which had a few glaring bugs. The app section never loaded, meaning a terminal was still the only way to install new applications. Anything that prompted a user for a password, the keyboard would simply not pop up. You could copy and paste your password in, though. That has its own issues. These all sound like pretty nasty bugs, right? Well, I'm sure Purism thought so as well. I did not have to reflash the dev kit. All I did was run over to the Update menu within the Software Center and hit that Update button. All in all, this is way cooler and much simpler than what Android has to do in order to modify its root file system. After the reboot completed, the lock screen has seen an update. Key presses are now more circular and do not remain highlighted. Hooray! Once logged in, we can see one of the first versions of the setup dialog. It has some interesting defaults. I never thought about switching to Dvorak on a phone. I doubt very much that it would be more convenient or any faster. But I mean, if you're already accustomed to Dvorak, this could be a nice option. Okay, cool. Double tap to continue or hit the next button. These GTK switches are interesting. They don't respond to tapping. You actually need to flip them with a drag motion. I did try to add a Google account here, but I don't think that's working just yet. The moment I loaded up the Software Center, I could tell there were some massive improvements. Applications and categories are now populating just fine. Let's test out installing something. K-Mines is not something I've tried before, so let's give it a go. They clearly fixed the password dialog issue where the keyboard wouldn't pop up. That's definitely good. While we wait for this to install, let's install another package. I happen to know that Frozen Bubble almost works, so let's go ahead and try that one. Cool. It installed just fine. Going back to K-Mines, it also installed fine. It also looks like the icons are showing up in the menu, but they don't work. Let's try something that isn't a game. Once again, the icon and launch button don't work, but running the newly installed package from command line seems to function fine. I really did not expect this to run smoothly, but it does. If you plugged this device into a monitor, keyboard, and mouse, this would be a very usable workstation to create simple graphics. This thing is running like a champ. Even dragging in the menus feels very smooth, which used to jitter sometimes. You can also do a bit of repo management from within the Software Center. And you can even use the GUI to remove installed packages, which does seem to function just fine. Okay, let's take a look at the Clocks app. Creating a morning alarm is very simple and looks very nice. Very cool. The keyboard now supports a numpad-only layout. The Stopwatch app is smooth and very functional. Likewise, the timer is perfectly usable. I'm a bit nervous to test this one, the browser. To give it the best chance, let's close everything else. The goal is to download my own app called Phonic. Dragging around feels completely different. It's much smoother, but also stops quickly after the scroll speed drops too low. I'll just append my username, and here it is. I'm not sure if I can just download the .deb without cloning the repo, so I guess I'll just copy that and plop that into King's Cross. Now we can just apt-get install that package. That was not too bad, but I would love to see a community repository that is simple to upload to and simple to add to the phone. To get Phonic into Debian is not a simple process and would be very time-consuming. Okay, what about heavy pages? Well, it just works. The scrolling seems just fine even on the heavy pages. Video playback is also much improved. I cannot believe they have got it working to this level before shipping. Way to be amazing purism. It's also nice to see that there's just one text editor now. The last big glaring issue I see is newly installed applications don't have working icons. This seems like a simple .desktop issue, and I bet Purism will have it fixed before the first customer sees a Librem 5 phone. Of course, this is all still non-final software, and stuff is definitely going to change, but this gives you a pretty good idea of what people will be using in the very near future. Thanks for watching. Bye.